up, palm enthusiasts? This week I have a great video for you. We will be talking about another less than known trunking palm. Now this is not a palm that's gonna go shoot 30 feet up into the air. This is probably gonna mature full size at about 25 feet tall, including the canopy. So this week we're talking about Sabal brazoriensis, otherwise known as Brazoria palmetto. Let's go! All right, guys. So this week for Palm Sundays, I'm going to be talking about the Sabal brazoriensis. And so now this palm originally was considered to be a natural hybrid, but this palm, Brazoria palmetto, as well as Sabal tamaulipas, have recently been reclassified as their own species, which is really cool. Without further ado, the native range for Brazoria palmetto is actually a teeny tiny little area in Texas where it is somewhat endangered. So this is like many other Sabal members. This is a water-loving palm. Here in this photo, you can actually see mine that I had here in Buffalo, New York for 2 years in the ground before it kicked the bucket. And I'll talk about that later on, but it is still possibly one of the hardiest trunking palms in existence. That is absolutely not Trachycarpus fortunei, in my opinion. So, for light and sun, this is from Plant Delights, as you can see, the page there. So with light and sun, I'm going to say in colder climates, probably full sun is best. I mean, they definitely can, and full sun is defined as 6+ hours of direct hot sun every day. So, they don't need to have all day sun. In fact, I think palmettos tend to look really beautiful. As you can see here, this guy is in kind of a woodland environment. Plant Delights is based out of Raleigh. But yeah, so full sun. As far as water and humidity goes, most sabals, especially when they're established, are very tolerant of drought. They are native to the southeast after all, but watering them consistently is definitely going to produce a better plant, and it's going to help it to grow faster. So yeah, that is pretty straightforward. I would say that this is probably less tolerant of swampy conditions, this particular palmetto, than Louisiana. That's a hypothesis that I have. I don't know, however, if that is founded, but since it's native to Texas, south of Houston, I would say it's probably not. Yes, it does like to be near rivers, but it's probably not quite as water-loving as Louisiana or some other sabals. They do still like clay, so moving on to pot size and fertility, like other sabals, the depth of the container is going to be way more important than the width. So I would say in time, it'll need a 20-inch deep container. And this is a big palm. It's a chunky palm, so probably a 20-inch wide container as well. So I guess in this case, width is going to help to not have the plant fall over if it's potted, because they can get rather large. Now, it's not going to be as tall, I think, ever as palmetto can get, Sabal palmetto, like the species. So yeah, I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later. As far as fertilizer goes, I would say fertilize it a few times during spring and midsummer, but if you're in a colder zone, like with many other cold-tolerant palms, definitely you're not going to want to fertilize past midsummer, whatever month that would be for you. For me, that would probably be sometime in July. If you're lucky enough to have a longer summer, then that would be maybe, I don't know, August or September. Depends on your year. As far as cold tolerance goes, and actually while we're on this photo here, this is off of Etsy, these you need to make sure you're getting your Sabal brazoriensis from a reputable source. And, you know, this is a palm that takes many, many years, probably in excess of 25, I would say, to really show its full characteristics like the plant that you're seeing here. It is a slow growing palm. So, you know, not that Sabal minor is a bad palm whatsoever, but if you're growing this to produce a trunk at maturity, then you definitely want to make sure you're getting your brazoriensis from a reputable source. And so now why you might want a shorter trunking palm. This could be for many reasons as far as design is concerned. And I do love talking about landscape design. So if you're interested in hearing me give you some tips on landscape design, drop it in the comments down below. As far as cold tolerance goes, I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb here and say that when they're established and big, they're going to be fully hardy to zone 7A. Now, that doesn't mean that your 7A might not get a colder winter with some polar vortex type thing where you may have to protect it a little bit. But the average zone 7 winter, I think a brazoria palm can handle it. So now, when I say big or established, I would say established would mean that it has been growing, in this case, in a particular spot for probably 2 or 3 seasons, and that could mean with protection if necessary. Now, I would not put in artificial heat if you can help it, because you want the plant to actually adapt, but it just needs a little help. If you're in zone 7, if you get your plant, which is very likely from a size smaller than that, basically a seedling, to put it up in a 3-gallon pot from the little thing that you get. If you get it in a 3-gallon, put it into like a 5 or a 7-gallon container, and then basically grow that thing on as long as you can in a container, and then you would have that in a cool spot such as a garage, an attached garage, maybe an attic, or somewhere where it's going to get cold or cool, but it's not going to freeze. So you do want it to be dormant while it's potted, just so it gets used to what your environment is going to be and how long it's going to be dormant.
So for final thoughts, with Sabal brazoriensis, I do not think that the award of the hardiest trunking palm should go to Trachycarpus. There, I said it, but so I actually had a Sabal brazoriensis live in the ground for, 2 years or so, and again, for the 2 winters that it was in the ground here in Buffalo, so long duration freezes, short days, not a lot of sunshine, it did still sustain damage, even though those were milder winters. Now that being said, if you have a hot summer climate, that will help you out dramatically. And if you're willing to grow it on to a bigger size to where the plant has a lot of height, that'll help you out a lot, as will being willing to protect your palms a little bit for the first couple years that they're in the ground. That really helps palms get their feet established. Especially a Sabal that does tend to have underground trunk before the trunk comes up above ground. That is one of the reasons why brazoriensis can take so long. And again, your mileage may vary. You might get a trunk in 5 or 10 years. Hard to say. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, that was not a fart. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to drop me a big old thumbs up, just like that. And if you want to see more content just like this, be sure to smash the subscribe button and tap the karst mountain right there. Tap the bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you next week. Peace.